What's up and welcome back. I originally didn't have a plan to film this, but this was on my mind and I decided that it needed to be talked about. Now, you got to remember, this is a place to create the smartest credit card users that you will ever come across, and you've seen the thumbnail, and we are going to talk about one of the major pitfalls of credit card creators and credit card collectors. And as always, we're going to let my co-star do her thing, and then we're going to dive into the content.
Welcome back to my dad's channel. If you're new here, make sure to click that like button and subscribe, and don't forget to share.
So I have a pretty decent amount of credit cards, and some of my contemporaries have way more credit cards than I have. The approval gods have been better to them than they have to me. Also, their situations have dictated things that my situation probably has not dictated. But collecting credit cards and being an enthusiast in the credit card points and miles space and community is not for the faint of heart. I've said this over and over again. I hope you guys have been listening, because it's not all about getting subs. It's not all about getting points and taking fantastic and fabulous vacations. Shout out to me. But there are negatives, and no one ever talks about the negatives. Period. As far as negatives go, you hear about don't pay interest because you have to pay your cards off in full and on time. Don't spend more than you have. Oh my God, if you wouldn't have spent it normally, then that is a hell-worthy sin, and you will be judged by St. Peter for getting that $10 of Uber Eats that you otherwise would not have used. I understand that's what gets things going, and that's how people, push their narrative, but that's not really how I do it here. So let's get into some of the major pitfalls, and there's one specific that I want to talk about, but I can't talk about the one I want to talk about without giving you some foundation. So really, there are two major pitfalls that I want to cover just in this video alone before I get into the rest of them, because these two are major. But the very first one, the pitfall that befalls all credit card enthusiasts and creators, and I'm sure Key will probably tell you this, I'm sure Sledge, a sledging team, will tell you this, Luke of Loose Points and Miles, Joe Barreto of the Credit Card Connection, John of John's Finance, John R's Travel, they will all tell you the same thing, and that is points devaluation, number one, bar none, is at the top of being the bane of every credit card collector's list. I think we all know that. And now that I've covered that, that is pretty much it. A devaluation is essentially equivalent to inflation affecting your regular dollars that are in your pocket. Points get devalued all the time, and that's just a quick blink and you'll miss it covering. But really what I want to get into is overlap. I challenge you to find a video focusing on overlap on YouTube. It's not something that most people will talk about, because they think it is inherent and that people should understand that as they collect credit cards that they will have overlap. But it needs to be talked about. There's only a finite amount of credit cards. So that means there's only a finite amount of multipliers that you can get that are going to be profitable for both you and mainly for the credit card companies. Since they're the issuers, their priorities come first, even though you are the customer. Big deal. Get off your high horse. But here's the thing. A lot of these credit cards have the same multipliers. And the one that I want to talk about specifically is dining. Every card in their mother has dining. Now, truth be told, everyone will know if you ask any credit card enthusiast, the very first thing that will come sputtering from behind their teeth is which card is the best in class for dining, and they will tell you the Amex Gold. As noted here, the Amex Gold card. Oh my God, it's just the best thing since sliced bread and butter. I'm an Amex fanboy, fangirl. Insert platitude here, insert needless praise there, yada, 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 wazza. And that's great. But with the advancement of credit cards, there are a ton of cards that are coming in really giving the Amex Gold a run for its money, because even though they may or may not offer that for X, they're actually offering just as much, and in some cases maybe just a smidge more if you know how to extract the value from the cards. Now, in my particular situation, I have the Amex Gold card, and I also have these 5 additional cards, and that's not including cards that have proprietary currencies. I only use the ones that did not have proprietary currencies to show that that's how many dining categories I have. But then also in the landscape, you have others that also have dining categories like hotel cards, like your Hilton Aspire, your Marriott cards. There are a ton of them. Plus, I have the Robinhood Gold card, which is 3% on everything, so that can be considered 3% dining. I also have the Apple card, which has selective 3% dining as well. So you have so many options to go out to eat. It is crazy. So let's kind of drill down on how this overlap really comes to be. Because in addition to that, also, honorable mention, you have the Amex Green card that is in the Amex stable that has 3x on dining at, about half the annual fee of the gold card. So that's also something to think about. So why is overlap bad? Overlap is bad because what overlap does is causes brain glitches. The thing is with the Amex Gold card, you have that 4x dining. You have it, it's there. But then you have, and these are example cards, and these are specific example cards I'm going to use, the City Strata Premier and the Capital One Saver card. Well, it's the Saver now. This one that I have when I first got it was actually called the Saver 1 because the old Saver card was actually an equivalent to the Amex Gold card with 4x back for dining. It had a $95 annual fee. They've since done away with that and collapsed that, and now they're all Saver cards. Now, the reason these two come up is because I've noticed that overlap can be equal and it can be differential. Now, for these two cards specifically, the overlap is equal. You can use one, you can use the other. It all depends on how well you can leverage the points. That's not terribly bad unless you really OCD. But then there is differential overlap. There's a term that I've coined, I didn't get it from anywhere else, and that's when you have the MX Gold, but you may have something else like the Chase Freedom Unlimited or the Chase Freedom Flex or the City Strata Premier, or just insert a million cards with food categories that you can. And now you find yourself in this situation when the bill comes where it's like you're just stuck. And when I say stuck, I mean you are stuck. Like you're looking at the bill and bam. Oh my God, the bill's here. Okay, everyone's looking at me. Don't panic. Don't panic. Stay cool. Stay cool. Stay cool. You got the gold card. Yeah, well, just about the gold card. Oh no. Oh Jesus Christ. Did we check Simply Miles? Simply Miles might have a deal. If Simply Miles does have a deal, then we may have to use a MasterCard. Did I bring my saver? What's the balance on my saver? Did I pay that? I hope I paid that. Can't let these YouTube people find out I didn't pay that. Yeah. So, oh Jesus Christ, where's my wallet? I thought I had my wallet. Oh no. Wait, I can play it cool. Oh yeah. Okay. Oh okay. Let's see if they take Apple Pay. Is it one of those things that they bring to the table? No, that's in Europe. Jesus. All right, come on. Focus. Okay. So 4x. Okay, three points, but I want to go to Hawaii. But what is going to Hawaii have? Okay, everyone's still looking at you. You might want to grab that check. Jesus Christ, is he pulling out cash? What is happening? Check. Come on, snap out of it. Pull it. Come on. Let's do this. Okay. All right. Let's see if I can check Simply Miles really fast or another portal. There's I don't want to ruin the stack. I'm gonna disappoint Lonnie. Come on, Lonnie's not even here. Wait a minute, why is this taking so long? Why is everyone looking at me? Where the hell's he going? Did he already pay his bill? Jesus Christ. All right, let's do this. Let's go. All right, food card. All right, let's do this. Break. So now what do you do? What do you do? But the problem is that a lot of people don't talk about this is what you're going to run into. Because as we collect these cards, like I said before, there are finite multipliers and there are going to be finite cards and there are going to be finite situations in which they are useful. I am now stuck at a crossroads where I have 6 cards that essentially do the exact same thing. One has $325 annual fee, and literally every single other card except, save for the City Strata Premier, is no annual fee. And as a value proposition, I just have to give up 1% or 1x or however it is that you want to say it. So what do you do in that situation? How then does that make the case for the Amex Gold to remain in the stable? So now here's where it gets sticky. You have to make sure that you can drill down and understand that the ancillary benefits of each of these cards is very important. Do you like Dunkin' Donuts? That's a tick for the Amex green card. Do you like anything else except for Dunkin' Donuts? That's a big X for the Amex green card. You get $10 of Uber cash with the Amex green card. But remember, if you don't go to Uber, or you don't normally use Uber, even if you can actually eat something for $10, according to the credit gods, then it's not valuable and you don't get to assign value to it. These are things that you have to think about. So it is very important for you to analyze the cards that are in your stable and realize that as you collect these cards, you will run into overlap. Like, here's some other examples: travel, airfare. The Amex Gold card, which I own, and the Amex Platinum card both have multipliers on airfare. One's 5x, one's 3x. That one is a little easier to discern because obviously 5 is more than 3. At least that's how math works on the planet that I'm from. So that makes it a lot easier until you start, doing sub hunts. And then maybe you might have to take it on the chin for the bigger return on spend later. But that is fairly well it. I'm not even gonna lie to you. As you can see here, this is kind of just a brain dump. I didn't even do an outline because it was just on my heart to talk about this. So I wanted to let the people know, beware of overlap. It comes in many different shapes and sizes. It comes with many different multipliers. And then when you have crazy cards like the Wells Fargo Attune, I believe it's the Attune. I really should have researched this, but it has like, things from food all the way to dog food and pet supplies. And, next thing you know, they're going to have, you know, multipliers for unicorn horn polish and, multipliers for gourmet boiled Rottweiler lips or whatever, all sorts of wonderful things that you can think of or whimsical things you can think of. Pixie dust may become a multiplier at one point or another. These are things that you have to prepare for. And as you collect these credit cards, you will run into overlap. It is inevitable. It is unavoidable. So make sure that you are paying attention to the ancillary benefits on your card to ensure that that overlap is worth it, or at least it can be mitigated. Everyone's worrying about mitigating annual fees when it's overlap. That's really going to cost you the most in the end, because this may cause the analysis paralysis that will lead you into using the wrong card, especially based on a travel goal or a savings goal that you may have in mind, depending on how well you can finesse or massage the points that are associated with that card. So that is pretty much it. I have no outline, so I don't want to just keep rambling and babbling on because I feel like I'm about to repeat a point that I made earlier in the video. With that, I haven't asked about this in a while, but let me hear your comments. I want to hear, what do you guys do to battle overlap? What do you do to mitigate that? This is important because once you get to a certain point in the game, no one talks about it because they just don't think they have to. But it's important. You have 20 cards, 30 cards, 40 cards, and you have 25 dining categories. I mean, how much are you really going to eat? You know what I mean? How much is really out there? How many dinners and or lunches or what have you can you really spring for before it gets annoying, even if you're getting your money back? So that is just something to think about. That's something I wanted to talk to you about. Didn't want to keep you guys for a long time. Let's talk about overlap. Let's talk about the part of the game that nobody talks about. Once you're really in it, how do you make it keep working for you? Remember, I want you guys to be the smartest credit card users in the room. So this is an entry, and I hope that you can find some value in this. And just so you remember, I remember to do the pointy thing. There they are. Check those videos out. Tell me how you enjoy them. And with that, I'm going to go look at all my food cards. I literally have more. It's just weird. They really like dining. We're going to be fatties if we're not careful.